Today I choose to give my yes to you. Today I choose to hear your voice and live. Today I choose to follow you. As for me.
Now there was a fill in there. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to what that was?
Just on the low tone. Better done.
Pretty much. There was actually a splash at the end of it as well, so it's essentially what happens. But if you watch the video, he's got this splash here, and that's much easier to do when you're doing 16. So perhaps I won't do that. But yeah. That's what he's doing on the hi-hat. Simple as anything, but effectively what we've just done there is copied something from a great drummer, and when you actually do it yourself with the band, you're like, actually works really well. I might not have thought to do that myself, but because I've taken the time to copy it from someone else, actually I've learned something new.
In my house, we will serve you.
There's a really subtle one in there, which I don't know whether you got. But that was, instead of keeping the hi-hats the same, he actually did that. So, yeah, but to hear that is actually quite tough. Let's go back and see if you guys can hear that.
I choose to give my yes to you and your names, to follow you. As for me and my house, we will serve you.
Now, that's quite tough to pick up, but when you listen really, really carefully to the drum track, you can start to pick these sort of things up. And, doing something like this is a fill. So don't get into the mindset where you're thinking, I've got to do something mad with toms and cymbals and stuff, because actually, sometimes the most simple things can be the most effective. That's a fill as well. So don't always limit yourself to thinking, I must do something big.
As for me,
There's a great book coming up, which is probably worth
we will spend our lives on you. Today,
that was fairly simple to hear that. That was a fill, pretty small, but it was one. Go back into the verse.
today I choose to follow you. Today I choose to give my yes to you. Today I choose to hear your voice and live. Today I choose to follow you.
Pretty simple, but the essential beats in there. Anyone want to hazard a guess at what that was?
Single stroke around the toms.
You have another listen to that? Yeah, exactly. Starting on the snare, but going round. So essentially, again, using that technique that we were talking about earlier, almost impossible to do if you don't do that technique at that speed, I might add. So what he's actually done is rolled into that, probably with what we would call a drag, which is a small double. A flam is like that. A drag is like this. might have done a rough, which is 3, but we'll glaze over that. And he's done. Except I started with the wrong stick. Start with your left. We'll get you to that. So it's funny when you're copying fills. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, well I'd start with my right, and then you try it, and suddenly you realise the only practical way you could possibly do that fill is to start with the other stick or stick it slightly differently. So well worth sitting down, listening, and working out that's what it is, because it's kind of a feature fill of that song. That sort of thing. But if you haven't taken the time just to listen, what exactly is that, and how can I replicate it, then you'll never be able to do it. So sit down, listen to the songs where you thought that's a cool fill, work out what it is, and play it at the kit so that you're comfortable with that's how to stick it. So, any other questions?